Hello YouTube, welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Today we're going to talk about Tully starring Charlize Theron. Before we get into that, going to make sure you hit the subscribe button and then also make sure you hit the notification bell so that you get notified anytime I upload new movie reviews. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So Tully, like I already said, is stars Charlize Theron, is directed by Jason Reitman, and is written by Diablo Cody, which is the same team of people that brought you Young Adult. And if you have not seen this movie, it is an excellent film. I loved it. If you haven't seen it already, you need to go see it. It should be on Netflix. I think the last time I checked it's on Netflix. So if you have a Netflix subscription or a login, we know how that goes. Check out Young Adult. It's really good. So in Tully, we also have Ron Livingston and Mark Duplass and Mackenzie Davis as Tully. And basically, Charlize Theron, she plays Marlo. She is a mom with two young children and a baby on the way. Her brother offers to pay for a night nurse to help her out in the weeks after she has the baby that she's currently pregnant with. And at first, she is kind of resistant to the idea of having a stranger coming to her house at night while she's trying and her family are trying to sleep. But after she has the baby and she starts to feel really exhausted and frustrated and overwhelmed with everything, she finally decides that it actually might be a good idea. And then one night Tully shows up and she takes care of the baby. Everything is great. And not only is, Charlize Theron getting, extra sleep and a little bit extra help, but it's also impacting other areas in her life where she is actually feeling happy and feeling joy and enjoying things. And there is a little twist at the end so I'm not going to spoil that for you right away. I'm going to have some more spoiler talk at the end. I will definitely warn you before I get into that. But some things that I want to say about this film is that it is really real. When it comes to talking about, giving birth and having babies and what that's like. And I think a lot of people like to romanticize that whole process and that whole experience, but they get really real with it. And like for some examples, a lot of times on TV and movies, when a woman is in the hospital giving birth, she's like in her hospital bed with her 1-day-old baby and her stomach is completely flat. And you're like, no, that's not a thing. So they'll actually show her with her tummy. And then also there's this part where she gets up to go to the bathroom and her the back of her hospital gown is a little bit open as they are in the back like that, and you see that she's wearing a diaper. Well, yes, because she just pushed a human out of her hoo-ha, and that causes some trauma down there, and there's like stuff still coming out. I mean, it's a whole thing. So they keep it really real. All the stuff that happens after that is very real, and I think sort of like how they scare you in like sex ed, showing you pictures of birth and you're like, oh my God, I will never do something like that. This movie, so I do not have kids myself. And after seeing this movie, I'm like, I'm good. Maybe I'm good on having the kids because that looks hard. Yeah, and then, and also I have to say, big props to the creative team for showing what a real woman's body looks like after she has a baby. Because we tend to look at these celebrities that seem to bounce back like weeks after they have these babies. And so I can imagine, if you're a woman that's had a baby 6 months ago and you're still sort of struggling with your body image and downing yourself about how you look, and then you see somebody like Heidi Klum run a catwalk for a Victoria's Secret fashion show 4 weeks after she gave birth, and everybody's looking at you like, well, how come you can't do that? It's an unfair standard for anyone to place themselves, for anyone to place on other people. And I think there should be more films, more TV like this that show what it's like really for most women who have babies, and especially women who just have babies that also have young children, where it's not exactly feasible for you to get out to the gym and really take care of yourself because you're taking care of these little people that need you. So one thing I like about this movie is that it is humorous. And I hesitate to say funny because that kind of gives it an impression that it's like a comedy with wall-to-wall laughs. There is a funny side to it, and Charlize Theron has this personality in Marlo that she has these things that she says, these quips that she throws out there that just have you laughing. and in that way it's humorous. So yeah, so while it was funny, it wasn't laugh out loud funny, but you can also tell that that wasn't what they were trying to go for. They weren't trying to make you like have soda coming out of your nose. Like they just wanted to inject some humor into this very real kind of movie. Now I'm going to go into spoilers. So I don't normally do spoilers because I want people who don't want spoilers to be able to see the entirety of the video from beginning to end. But there isn't one aspect about this movie that I really want to talk about that I can't exactly do without spoiling the ending for you. Before you leave, I just want to make sure there are two other places where you can follow me outside of YouTube. One of them is letterboxd.com. I keep a diary of everything that I'm watching from day to day. So if you're curious as to what I'm watching, go ahead and check there, because I don't do a video on everything that I'm watching, mainly because I've seen them before or they're older movies or whatever. So if you're curious about what I'm watching from day to day, go to letterboxd.com/chickwithflicks. Follow me there and you can see what it is that I'm watching. Also, be sure to follow me on Stardust. So if you do not have the app already, download the app, find me. I am Chick with Flicks. So in Stardust, you can do your reactions to movies, to TV episodes, very short, 30-second or less reactions to what you just saw. So I'm starting to post a lot there. Also, you can also post your reactions as well. So if you decide to go on Stardust and do your own reactions, let me know. I'll follow you. We can follow each other and look at each other's reactions to things. Okay, so now we are entering spoiler territory, and for that, if you would like to see your way out, now would be the time. And if you're still here, you want to hear what I gotta say, so thank you for sticking around. Okay, so what happens at the end is that we find out that Tully is actually not real. Marlo never actually called the number that her brother gave her to get a night nurse, but that she was still doing all this stuff by herself while imagining that she had Tully with her. And Tully is actually sort of this manifestation of her younger self. And her name, Tully, is actually Marlo's maiden name. And so that kind of struck me as being very important, and it kind of says a lot to me about how women's identities change after they get married and have kids and so on and so forth. It's sort of like you have this life before all of that, where you did whatever it is you did, you experienced whatever you experienced, and then you get married, and most women take their husband's last name. And then when they become wives and then later on become mothers, they're sort of expected to have this change and to have this shift in their life that men are not expected to do. And so it's like you've become this different person because now you have your husband's last name, you have these kids, and then now your kids have this last name that you share with your husband. And the more and more the years go on, the more that your former life gets further and further behind in the rear view. And I think that it was really pronounced for Marlo because her life before was so different than what it was as a mom and with kids. And so for her, it was like bringing back her, not necessarily her youth, but just that identity back into her life is what she was craving. At the beginning of the movie, she ran into a roommate, and you can tell there was like a little thing there, like maybe they had a thing, maybe they didn't, they were like freewheeling, free-spirited. And having that interaction with her friend, her former friend, must have brought back this whole wave of, thinking back on her life and that time when she knew her, and then bringing Tully into her life, because this is a part of her life that she is disconnected with and that she's trying to connect back with. So I hope that made sense. I know I look at my analytics on YouTube. I know that pretty much like 90% of my viewers are men. And so I also want to let you guys know that this isn't just a movie for women. I think this is a movie for humans. Women, men don't have to give birth to children, but men are very responsible for making children. And especially if you are in a relationship with somebody that is having a baby that you made together, you are there through this whole time. And I think that this is a good opportunity to show people that raising children is hard, and especially if you're trying to raise multiple children all by yourself, it is dang near impossible. And that whole old adage that it takes a village to raise a child, and it certainly does. And you can't be you know, just thinking that, oh, it's a woman's role to take care of children, I think is a bad way to go about it, because, I mean, as you can see in this movie, it takes a lot out of a person. It's hard enough to do it with a partner, but it's even harder to do it on your own. So I think it's very, that is very important for men to see this movie too, to know that, you know, you do have a role in this, in raising the kids, so that you don't drive your wife or your girlfriend completely nutbag insane. Okay, so that is my review of Tully. At the end of the day, I think that this is a really good movie to see. I am, you know, it's sad that it is being thrashed in the theaters this weekend, because it's the second weekend that the Avengers is out, and the Avengers is just like killing everything that's, you know, in its path. And it was the same thing with all the movies that came after Black Panther. Like Black Panther just like ate up the box office for, you know, months. And same thing is happening here. So that's unfortunate. But I think that it's still, if you've already seen Avengers and you've seen it a sufficient amount of times, that this would be a good watch. Now, if you're one of those people that have small children at home and you are actually looking for like a night out on town and like to have some fun, to get away, to disconnect and have some fun, this might not be the movie for you, because this might be a little too real. This might be like stepping back into your house, but you're in a movie theater. So maybe if you're in that situation, probably pass. But you could take some, probably can take some things here and there, or at least feel like, oh gosh, somebody gets it. I'm not the only person who's losing my mind over here. So in that case, maybe it might be a good watch. But yeah, that was kind of a convoluted recommendation. It's a good one. It's a good one to see. Check it out. So thank you for watching my review. I really appreciate it. Once again, if you like this review and you like my reviews, check out my other reviews. I have plenty on my channel. And then also subscribe, hit the subscribe button, and then the notification bell, because you're going to forget to come see me next week when I review whatever the next thing is. I'm not looking at my calendar right now, so I don't remember. Deadpool? Is that soon? Whatever. So hit the notification bell so that YouTube will let you know when I upload a new video. Thank you so much again for watching. I'll see you on the next one.